Great sportsmanship means being humble in victory and gracious in defeat.
Big respect, Andy. Big respect.
And although some people might not think it, boxing is a sport that more often than not promotes sportsmanship.
First man over to see Kevin Rooney is Alexis Arguello. He is concerned about this young man.
These are great sportsmanship moments in boxing. In 1941, Lenny "Boom Boom" Mancini was the #1 lightweight contender and in line for a shot at a world title. However, shortly afterwards, the United States entered World War II, and Mancini was drafted, denying him the chance to fight for the championship. Mancini became an infantryman and was wounded by mortar shrapnel in Metz, France, and discharged from the Army in 1945. After recovering from his injuries, Mancini resumed his boxing career, but was unable to re-establish himself as a contender and retired after 4 consecutive defeats. Lenny inspired his son Ray to take up boxing, and he started going to a boxing gym at a young age to develop his skills. When he was 13, Ray dedicated himself to winning a lightweight world title that his father never got a shot at. Following a stellar amateur career, Ray turned pro and won his first 20 pro fights, earning him a shot at Alexis Arguello's WBC world title. Ray, also known as Boom Boom Mancini, the same nickname as his father, was 20 years old while Arguello was 29 and an experienced 3-division champion. At ringside, Lenny Mancini was wheelchair-bound following a double coronary bypass. In an all-action fight, Mancini had the upper hand in the early and middle rounds before Arguello took control in the late rounds, scoring 2 knockdowns and stopping Mancini in the 14th round.
Down he goes. Right hand set him down, but it was 2 strong lefts, and that's it. Tony Perez says that's enough. Rightly so, Tim.
After the fight, in a moment that was as memorable as the fight itself, Arguello warmly embraced Mancini during his post-fight interview and told him that he would do anything to help his father.
Here is the challenger, Ray Mancini. Come on in here.
Good.
That's what we're talking about.
Thank you, kid.
Ray Mancini.
I love your father. That's the most beautiful thing you have, like I have my father. Take good care of you. You're going to be a good promise. And I promise, if I can do something for you, let me know, please.
Thank you.
Okay?
5 minutes ago, this guy was a raging tornado, crazed dog who had just beaten the crap out of this kid. And now he's got his arm around him and telling him how he loved his father. His father was crying.
He and Arguello had a wonderful, almost big brother, little brother embrace and conversation in the ring where Arguello told him, one day you'll be a champion.
In 2015, Willis Meehan was beating his outmatched opponent Lenny Tato so badly that he pleaded with the referee to end the fight.
Hard body shots. Big right hand, just teeing off on him. That's it. The ref comes in, and that's it. This fight's all over. He was out on his feet. That is one tough guy because he still didn't drop him.
After the referee responded to Meehan's call for mercy and waved off the fight, Meehan put a concerned arm around Tato and helped him back to his corner.
As Willis said to the referee about time, I think it was time for him to jump in there, which was a fair decision.
In 1986, Thomas Hearns knocked out James Shuler in round 1 to win the NABF middleweight title. 10 days after the fight, Shuler was tragically killed in a motorcycle accident. At Shuler's funeral, Hearns gave Shuler's family the NABF middleweight title that he'd won from Shuler, saying that he deserved to keep the belt as he had held it longer. In 2005, Mexican boxing legend Julio Cesar Chavez was expected to fight for the very last time against Ivan Robinson. In a great show of respect, Robinson bowed in front of Chavez when the introductions were being read out loud and then kissed him on the cheek during the referee's final instructions.
Amazing respect shown by Ivan Robinson for Julio Cesar Chavez. He went over to his corner during the introductions and bowed in respect twice to him and just kissed him on the cheek before the referee's instructions. Amazing.
Only in this sport. Only in this sport.
In 2018, WBA bantamweight champion Ryan Burnett was forced to retire on his stool after suffering a back injury in the 4th round against Nonito Donaire. In a great show of sportsmanship, Donaire quickly rushed to Burnett's corner and shared his condolences with Burnett and his trainer, Adam Booth.
Listen, you're the good man. You beat me tonight. You beat me tonight. I swear to fucking God. I'm sorry, my man. I wish I could have gotten you in a better term. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, my brother. You're amazing. Oh, I go in the back line. It's okay, I got it. Good fight, good fight. I'm so sorry, brother. Let me time.
In 2005, Emmanuel Augustus began to dominate the middle rounds against opponent Ray Oliveira. In the 8th round, Augustus landed a right hand which caused Oliveira to suddenly grab the back of his head and turn away from the action.
Come off with these sharp shots. The guy's really hard to fight. He's hard to box, and I think he needs to get back on him. It's not a Ray. It's enough.
After being examined by referee Steve Smoker, Oliveira was allowed to continue. The situation visibly concerned Augustus, who went on to the back foot and threw only body punches.
Very good one. Yes, 1988 to 2001 spanned his career, and a good trainer too. But right now, working with an old fighter in the twilight of his career, Ray Oliveira.
Oliveira kind of giving his last effort here because he's holding the back of his head and saying, I would have major concerns right now. If he feels something is the head, maybe they want to take a good look here.
I think I was touching on this earlier. The cameras can get a close look. Ray Oliveira looks like he's side. Not only that, he looks like he's crying, and there's blood coming out of his nose. And I think this needs to be stopped.
With 30 seconds left in the round, Smoker called for another timeout because there still appeared to be something wrong with Oliveira. Surprisingly, even after being examined by the ringside doctor, Oliveira was allowed to fight on. Augustus, again, showed incredible compassion and threw only body punches.
Concerned about a fight not going on, he starts to show that concern, and the doctor decided to let it go, but we'll see.
Steve is saying, hey, I'm not a doctor, so I'm going to listen to what you have to say, but I don't like the looks of this, and neither do I, Teddy, as we come to the end of this round.
In between rounds 8 and 9, the fight was stopped, and Augustus went over and consoled Oliveira in his corner.
I just didn't like his response.
Good job by Smoker. I said earlier that I just felt very concerned about Oliveira, and I spent a lot of time the last couple rounds before we got to this point.
It was later revealed that Oliveira had pinched a nerve in his neck. Over the course of 13 months, Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward produced one of the greatest trilogies in boxing history. After going to war for a total of 30 rounds, both men showed respect and sportsmanship after every fight.
I know what type of man Mickey Ward is, and I knew he was coming in tonight to fight his best fight of his life. And if it would have been anybody else, they would have quit. And Mickey Ward hurt me in the 3rd, 4th round. I hurt my hand in the 3rd round, but Mickey Ward is unbelievable. He's got a heart. And for someone that wants to retire, he fought a hell of a fight.
Following their 3rd and final fight, Ward went for a checkup at the local hospital, and in a beautifully captured moment, Gatti was in a bed alongside him.
Like the other fights, Ward's night would end at a local hospital. And as the doctors examined him, Mickey found out he wasn't the only guy in the emergency room who'd come from Boardwalk Hall.
Dr. Mongols, he had slid the curtain open. He goes, I think somebody wants to say hi to you.
You all right?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. And who do you think's on the other bed of him? It's Arturo. The first words out of his mouth, it ain't like, it wasn't no, like, good fight, this, that. First thing out of his mouth goes, Mick, you okay? First thing.
And I just remember standing sort of in the corner looking at these two guys saying, now let me get this right. You just dedicated 30 rounds to putting each other in these gurneys. And the first thing you think to ask them is, hey, Mick, you all right? And it just sort of said everything about them.